is Kelsey and welcome to the Nightly Needle. Today I have a beautiful tutorial depicting that scarf you saw in the thumbnail. So I've called it the Aurora scarf, named after the yarn obviously. This yarn is a very nice, soft and kind of plushy, chunky yarn, and I really enjoyed working with it. It makes up a beautiful scarf. And the scarf you saw pictured was woodland is the color. This one is going to be rose hip. And so to do that, you will need at least a skein and a half of this. I have two brand new skeins that I'll just work from. You'll need a pair of scissors, and then you'll need a 5mm crochet hook. And it's a really simple pattern and will take no time at all to make. So let's get started. So to start off this tutorial, we're going to make a slip knot. And now we're going to chain 34. Now that we have 34 chains, we're going to go ahead and begin the row. So working from hook side, we're going to go in 2 chains, and in that second chain we're going to half double crochet. And that's going to be our beginning. So this chain 1 here on the side, that was our beginning half double crochet. So now we're going to just continue half double crocheting into each stitch all the way to the end. So now we're ready to begin the next row. So to do that, we're going to work a decrease in the first 2 stitches. Now the traditional half double crochet together, or the half double crochet decrease, whichever you prefer to call it, tends to look a little puffy because you're pulling through 5 loops at a time rather than, you know, the traditional 3 loops. I prefer to kind of mix it with a double crochet decrease, and that seems to look a little bit more flush, a little bit better. It doesn't stick out as much because this isn't a puff. I don't want it to look like a puff. So to do that, I yarn over, I insert into that first stitch that we're working out of, drop a loop, then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. Then in the next stitch I'm going to yarn over, insert, drop another loop, and this time instead of pulling through just 2, we're going to pull through all 4 of them. So it tends to not look so puffy and still gives us that stitch. Now this isn't traditionally correct, but when you're crocheting sometimes you just have to make it up as you go. So there's that, and I will show it again here in just a second. So we're going to work half double crochets into the next 5 stitches. Okay, and now we're going to work an increase into the next. So this is going to be a 3 increase, so you're going to half double crochet 3 into that same stitch. And that's going to give us our increase there. So now we're going to be working half double crochets into the next 8 stitches. And now we're going to be working another decrease into the next 2, but instead of working like we did in the beginning, we're actually going to just skip 2 stitches. So you'll skip 2 stitches and you'll work a half double crochet into the 3rd stitch, and then you're going to work half double crochets into the next 7 with a total of 8. Then we're going to work our next increase, so that's going to be the 3 half double crochets into the next stitch. And now we're going to work half double crochets into each of the next 5. Okay, and so you should have 2 stitches at the end here, and we're going to work another decrease in these 2. So again, you'll yarn over, insert into that first stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you're going to yarn over, insert into the top of the last stitch, drop a loop, and then you're going to just yarn over and pull through all 4. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to turn our work, and that's going to begin our next row. So you notice that your piece has kind of got a zigzag shape going on, and that's what we want. We're making a chevron. This is what the pattern is basically going to be. It's going to be just a chevron all the way through. The stitches we worked are not going to change very much, and they're not going to change very much in position. So we'll go ahead and work a couple more rows together just to get the hang of it, and then you guys will be on your own. So we are going to be working a little bit of an alternate pattern as well. So this next row we're going to be working in back loops only to give it a little bit more of a ribbed effect, and it just kind of highlights the chevron a little bit more. So to start off with, we're going to be working our modified half double crochet decrease, and you're going to yarn over and you're going to insert into the back loop of that first stitch. You're going to draw it up, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and then you're going to repeat the same thing for the next stitch, and then instead of pulling through 2, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4, and then you're going to work your 5 half double crochets working in that back loop of each of those. So as you can see, that's giving us that ribbed effect there in these 2 rows. So the next stitches are going to be made in this middle of the cluster we've made in the previous round, in that back loop as well. So you're going to put 3 half double crochets. It's going to be our increase. And then you're going to half double crochet into the next 8, making sure you work only the back loop. So here we are at the skip 2 space. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue, we're going to skip 2 stitches, and working in the back loop of the 3rd stitch we're going to half double crochet, and then we're going to half double crochet into the next 7, giving us a total of 8. Here we are at our final cluster. So in that middle half double crochet from the previous round, we're going to place 3 half double crochets into the back loop. And then we're going to half double crochet in the back loops of the next 5. Now we're going to be working our decrease into the last 2 stitches. So the trick for ending that I find that works best, at least for me in my opinion, is working in the back loop of the first one. So you'll yarn over and drop a loop like normal. You're going to go ahead and pull through 2. And in the final stitch, instead of only going through the back loop, you're going to yarn over, insert into both loops of that stitch, drop your loops, and then yarn over and pull through all. And to me that just makes it look a little more even, and it tends to stretch that last stitch out a little bit too much for my taste, and so that's the way I do it. If you want to work in both in just the back loops instead of both, you can. That's up to you. So we're going to go ahead and chain our 2, and we're going to turn our work. So now we're going to go ahead and work our modified half double crochet decrease, and we're going to be doing it over the next 2 stitches in both loops this time. Then we're going to half double crochet in both loops in the next 5 stitches. And again, here we are at our cluster. We're going to work 3 half double crochets into that middle. And then we're going to work 8 half double crochets after. And then here we are at our skip 2 space. So again, we're just going to skip our 2 stitches and work a half double crochet into the third. And then we're going to work a half double crochet into the next 7, giving us a total of 8. And then at our final increase cluster, we're going to work 3 half double crochets into that middle. Then we're going to work our 5 half double crochets. Then we're going to work our decrease and over the next 2. And then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to flip over our work. So this is pretty much the pattern, you guys, working that same succession of stitches. So the only difference is going to be this little back loop ridge here. And so this next round we would be working that back loop only. So this little ridge will always be on this side. It'll always be on that front side. If it's on the back side, then that means you've miscounted somewhere. So it's a good way to tell before you get too far along. But yeah, so this next round, or this next row, we would be working back loops only, and then you would work a row of both loops, and then so on, so on. So we're going to continue this until you've reached 88 rows. Seems like a lot, but this is going to work up super quick because of this chunky yarn and because of the stitches we're using. So you could probably have the scarf done in about 2 hours. And you know, that's not really counting the fringe, but fringe doesn't take long. That takes about 10-15 minutes. But the scarf will work up wonderfully. So just continue this until you've reached that 88 mark, and then I will show you how to add fringe. So now that we've completed our 88 rows, you'll notice that we've ended the same way we began, with a ridge here and then a flat surface here. So now what we're going to do is tie off. You want to leave a pretty generous tail, and the beauty about this pattern is there's no weaving in ends because we're going to be adding fringe. Now if you plan on not adding fringe, then you'll want to weave in your ends. So the scarf is completed for the most part, so now we're going to make our fringe and just set this aside. So you'll decide on what size fringe length you want. I'm going to use my tablet case because it's just the right size for the fringe that I want. So now we're just going to take our yarn and our object that we want to wrap around, and we are going to begin wrapping. Now you can count. I just kind of eyeball it until, you know, I feel like I've made, you know, enough fringe that I want. And if I have to go back through, I know I can make it the same size by using the same object. So, but you're just going to continue wrapping until you're satisfied with the amount of fringe you have. Alright, so I'm going to start here and then see where I need to go. And just keep in mind that each strand is going to count as one fringe because it'll be halved whenever we tie it around. So we're just going to snip it along the edge. And sharp scissors do come in handy. And then there's your fringe to start with. Now for attaching, what we're going to do is just start at one end, it doesn't matter which one, and we're going to take a piece of fringe And we are going to take our hook and insert it into the top of the first stitch you want to. Then you're just going to pull it through. You want to make sure both tails are on one side and the loop is on the other, and you can just adjust them until they're even, and then you're going to take and basically do a slip knot. You're going to take the end, you're going to pull them through the loop and just pull tight, and that's going to keep it together. It's going to tie it off. So we're just going to continue doing that. I'll show you one more time. Taking your piece of yarn, you're just going to pull it. Make sure it's even. And then you're going to make a slip knot. You're going to just continue doing that all the way along the edge. You can double up if you want to, or you can just do a single piece like I'm doing in each loop. It's totally up to you. I'm going to be doing both ends. So I'll meet you guys back here to show you the finished product. Alright everyone, here's our finished scarf. It turned out super cute with the fringe. Makes just a very lovely statement piece to her outfit. If you're not a big pink fan, but kind of feeling girly, this might be good because it has a little bit of breaking up with some yellows and some white tones in there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I put out a new video. And if you would like to follow me on social media, I have a Facebook and an Instagram and a Pinterest, and those will be linked below for you. And I really enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys did too. Have a great day.